Usually
Hi.
it's kind of, there you go.
Yep. There we go. Hi, 0 people who are watching us at the moment.
They'll
um,
join.
sorry.
They'll join.
They'll join. Anyway, I guess we'll start talking about 80s films where two cops, no rules, and yeah. Sorry, I had a whole thing. I forgot what it was. So anyway, how many movies did you get through before the start of this?
I only watched like 3 in the last couple days, but I've seen most of them before, so it should be all good.
Okay. Did you got through Commando? Had you seen that before?
I actually hadn't. No, I just watched it for the first time last night and today.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a crazy movie. It's definitely 80s. It's like literally symbolizes the 80s action film. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was just gonna say it's very much so. It's even aware of that, I think, with some of the humor and stuff.
Yeah, what I'm surprised is something I've noticed in most 80s action film is the disregard for property damage, especially in
Oh,
Commando.
true. Yeah, I was thinking of that too. Like when he drives a bulldozer through that store to steal their ammo and stuff.
It's amazing how that store had like a secret compartment with all their guns and ammo. Is that normal in America? Is it like you go to an outlet store for your camouflage and all of a sudden they've got like a back room full of, what was that, a rocket launcher?
Yeah, they just say rocket launcher. They aren't very specific.
So it's like when you want to buy a gun over there, do you guys just like, hey, go into the secret back compartment and go get me a 44?
It's not as far-fetched as you might think, but
Okay.
it seemed like he knew that
Yes.
place had a stash of weapons ahead of time. So
Yeah. See, that wasn't like, that's another thing. 80s movies kind of like just assume you're American. That's something I've noticed, that that these things are the way they are. Like there is a secret room where they keep all their guns at most of these. What kind of store is it? It's not an outlet store. It's like a sporting store.
yeah, that was a more extreme example. Like you can't buy automatic weapons and rocket launchers and stuff, but
What?
yeah, you could definitely buy guns, like regular guns.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was crazy. And in property damage, he gives a crap. And also, there's something also about Commando, which was hilarious, was the fact that this guy, I don't know, he was Latin American or something, and he wanted to take back his country from who John Matrix, I think that's his name, kicked him out of power and put it. And the fact that he was able to get all these weapons and cannons and tanks into that warehouse without the American government knowing. Now, I know nowadays you could never do that, but even in the 80s, I think like he had like one of those cannons, that ones that can fire from a long distance. I forgot, mortar. I saw a mortar and all that. And it's like, even in the 80s, that would like a whole red flag would fly up to the FBI or the local police or whatever. So I thought that was crazy. Sorry.
Well, a lot of it was pretty exaggerated and unrealistic.
Yeah.
That's kind of the idea.
Yeah. No, that's something that I've noticed with 80s action films. They do like to exaggerate what really happens. I mean, I'm sure he broke the law about 1 million times. And when he got caught after he put the bulldozer through the thing, I'm like, yes, what do you think would happen?
Yeah. See, that's the thing about that movie. At first, I was like, this is kind of stupid. But then stuff like that, him getting caught by the police, it showed the movie was very aware of itself, especially his female sidekick. Almost all of her lines are kind of like things the audience would be saying, like kind of how ridiculous the situation is and stuff.
Yeah, I liked her. She was pretty good in her part. She really, and as you said, she's kind of the window of the viewer's window into what's going on. I mean, he's completely committed to the bit. Well, she's like, what the hell? He's just and she kidnapped him. He kidnapped her, sorry, and then she goes straight to the security. And it's like, what? That's what you would do if some large Austrian bloke went, I need your car, and ripped out your seat and decided to like hold you hostage.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, he could have explained a little better before he sent her off on, the mission he wanted her to do. Like, he doesn't talk really the whole way there. He could have explained things, but I liked that too. It was very realistic the way she just went and told a security guard.
And then she kind of like went onto his side and helped him, like pushing that poor bloke down the stairs. It's amazing he didn't die.
It wasn't really well explained either when she switched sides. Like, she just does it. I kind of wish they'd even given her a line like, "Oh no," or something, or "What have I done?" But some of the things like that wasn't really clear. Like when he gets arrested stealing the guns, but she doesn't, and she just has
Yes.
all the guns still and has a truck and a car with all the guns. It's like, okay, I could see her not getting arrested, but they didn't say she was outside or anything when it happened.
Yeah, she just
And
kind
like,
of walks outside.
yeah, and how'd she get away with all the weapons? But I was willing to give it a pass.
Yeah, no, like that's the thing. You have to kind of suspend your disbelief with, well, Commando especially,
Yeah,
because it's a hilarious, it's a brilliant film. It's hilarious. It's very much the '80s action film of its time.
yeah.
And I really like it. I hadn't actually seen it in a little while, so whenever I watch it again, I'm like, that's. And his lines are brilliant. Like the way Arnold Schwarzenegger is a really good. He's really good at delivering the funny, straight-laced lines. Like, what happened to? I forgot what that guy's name was. What happened to Malcolm? I let him go.
Oh yeah, right. So he drops him off.
You know how I said I'd kill you last? Yeah, you did, man. You did. I lied.
I lied. Yeah,
Sorry.
it's a very quotable movie.
Yeah, the quotes kind of dry up until like the last part of the film when he fights that Australian guy. I think that guy's Australian. I was going to look up his name, but I freaking forgot. But yeah,
you should know if he's Australian or not, right?
well, he had that
If
accent.
any of us would. Yeah, I mean, he's Australian in the movie. I don't know if the actor was. I thought maybe you would know. I actually thought maybe that was part of the reason you liked the movie so much, was because one of the main characters was Australian. I don't know if he really was.
It might have been Brian Brown. He was in a few American films. Have you seen Darkman? What's his name? The main bad guy, like the guy who wants to build the buildings, and Darkman throws him off the building. He's Australian. That's not Ralph Fiennes. Colin Farrell. No, not Colin Farrell. Anyway, he's Australian. Yeah, and a lot of early Australian actors came from that. So what would you give Commando out of 10? Or out of 10.
Huh. Oh, I see. We're gonna kind of score them all and see who does the best.
Yeah. Sorry.
Gosh, yeah, probably.
Sorry.
I don't know. Let me think about that for a minute, because there's a lot to talk about in it, really. I mean, like the child, like his daughter is Alyssa Milano. It was like her first role. Yeah, I didn't know that either. I kind of did some reading up on it.
Okay, which I did.
And what else? There's a bunch of stuff. It was kind of an interesting little movie. But
I like the way the bad guys found him. Like they killed 2 of his squad mates, and then they followed that general because the general freaked out. And I like that. That was cool because you thought that the killings were just revenge, but actually, what it was a plan. And I love that tall black guy that he fought in the hotel. Yeah, the hotel. He ends up getting impaled by the lamp or whatever the hell that thing was.
Yeah, just a random piece of wood that came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
that was another part where it kind of breaks the meta, because they're fighting and saying their one-liners to each other, and she's like, "Oh, this macho bullshit," you know.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, I laughed out loud. That movie definitely gained a couple points just for that alone. I was like, okay, it's not taking itself too seriously.
Yeah, it's a very... Sorry, keep going.
The first part, though, I think was a little, I don't know, like the middle and end is definitely better than the beginning, especially if you start to think about it at all. Like the story kind of falls apart really fast and is totally illogical. Like, why'd they think he would actually do that
Mm.
and all this stuff. Like they have all these resources and soldiers and stuff. Like maybe they should
Yeah.
have just tried to kill the president on their own.
Yeah, no.
But
Sorry, go.
go ahead.
I was going to point out that. Oh crap! I'm getting reverb. I'm hearing myself.
That's never fun.
I hate that.
Why that's happening? Anyway, I noticed that the guy who played the main bad guy, the guy who wanted to take back his country, that was what's his name? He's been in like heaps of things. Was he in American Pie?
Maybe. I don't know. That would have been like almost 20 years later. Well, no, like 10 years later, I guess. I'm not sure.
It's killing me. I'm gonna.
I didn't recognize him from anything.
Hey, Arnold Schwarzenegger played John Matrix.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that actress, what was her name? Like Chong, something Chong, Ray Chong, Dawn Ray Chong, I think.
Yeah. Wow.
She was really pretty. I guess she was been around for a while. I didn't realize, but I was like, man, she's pretty and talented.
Well, she was in The Color Purple.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she's in The Quest for Fire. I don't know if you've heard of that one. I've never heard of that one.
She's like a legit actress, though, for a movie like this. That usually they just kind of get like a random whoever, someone that's pretty.
Major Franklin, Sully, Jenny Matrix, Cook. Cook was Bill Duke. I've seen him in a lot of things. Crap.
But yeah, that main bad guy, well, not the main bad guy, but the Australian bad guy.
Yeah.
That wore like a weird chain mesh shirt. He seemed kind of punchy too. Like,
I know. I see you've gotten slow, and I felt like I see you've gotten fat.
right? Like this is supposed to be the equal to John Matrix, and it's just like this random pudgy guy. I was like, okay, maybe do like 10 sit-ups a day at least. Like, geez.
It's all muscle.
Yeah,
muscle.
it was.
That's what we keep our muscle in our stomachs.
Apparently.
But no, yeah, it's a very, very good film. I'd probably give it 7 out of 10. As you said, the middle and the end are the best parts of it, and it doesn't take itself seriously. It does, like when he's just shooting everyone, that gets a little boring. Maybe
and a little ridiculous.
Yeah, and a bit ridiculous. So it's ridiculousness. It loses a few points for its ridiculousness, but it does definitely gains a couple of points for its one-liners. Don't wake him; he's dead tired.
Right, and nobody heard him like punch and break that guy's neck.
There's
so people sitting right in front of him.
I'll be like, look, that guy punched that guy. I'll be like, that guy. It's like whenever you see Superman, or Batman or whatever, changing or whatever, or saying something that's like, hey, that guy just said he's Batman or something. I'll be that guy. Because they say it so loud, you think, well, maybe someone's going to hear it. But I think it's just because it's a movie, they have to be audible, as it were.
Yeah.
But it's still hilarious. Like, I'll be just that guy. That guy said.
Well, 7's pretty good.
7? Oh, yeah, the killer movie.
You were giving this one a 7?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yes, 7. This Commando is a 7. So it is fun. And it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, so you can't go wrong with that guy. There's actually a lot of Arnold Schwarzenegger movies in this list, isn't there? All of what we're talking about. Oh,
yeah. 1980s action, he was definitely the guy, the top one.
Definitely. I was going to say Last Boy Scout for this list, but it actually was 1990. So it just missed it.
Yeah, I was noticing that. There were a lot of movies from like, you would think were in the 80s, but are like 1990, 91. Like Terminator 2, for instance. But I think I'll give it a 7 as well for Commando. I was thinking 8, but 7 sounds about right.
Okay, so the next one will be your choice. I came up with Commando.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess we're just jumping around, huh?
Yeah.
Well, RoboCop. I know you watched that. I watched it again last night.
Yeah, I love that film.
What was the year on that? Is that 87? No.
Wait, I have
Yeah.
a list. I have a list.
Okay, yeah.
I wrote this stuff
That
down.
was a good one.
Yeah, RoboCop. There's about 1 million critiques of that movie online. Have you seen the new one? It had interesting parts. Out of all the terrible 80 movie remakes they've done in the last couple of years, it is the one that isn't as terrible as the rest. Like Total Recall was a freaking shit job. What was the other one they remade?
Oh. They remade Judge Dredd, but
That was awesome. But
I was going to say, I heard that was good.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that was a remake because the Stallone one, the Stallone one, that's an interesting one. I didn't actually put that on my list.
I know. I just thought of that too. We should have had Judge Dredd in there.
Yeah. Judge Dredd's have you seen it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Judge Dredd.
Yep.
The story is kind of terrible. What's his name in it? Not Judge Dredd, the guy who plays his like sidekick.
Oh.
What's his name? He was in The Animal. Oh, God damn it.
He's like his sidekick.
Oh, Judge Dredd is from 95 anyway.
We can't talk about it then. Okay.
Yeah. I thought it was older.
RoboCop, I think. RoboCop 1987.
Okay.
There's a lot of Jesus references in it, apparently. I do like how they introduce you. There's something strange. They introduce you to the main character, Murphy. And they actually get into his backstory and really like make him somebody you feel for. And then they blow the shit out of him. That was the first scene I ever saw as a kid where somebody just got blown to shit in a film. And they do. They just take his arms off and his legs off. And I love that film. It was one of the first films I saw that I was allowed to see as a kid.
Right.
That's how old I am.
I'm sure I shouldn't have. Like, it's rated R, and you're talking about that, right? Where they shoot up the cop, and it's not just that they shoot up Murphy. Like, they're mean about it, malicious and taunting him and stuff. I was just like, these guys are horrible.
Yeah, I remember that when I think I was like 12 or something like that when I first saw that, and I was like, cool. I was a very disturbed child, but no, I love that film. I don't know really much to say about it. I love it. I like how they.
Oh yeah, I do too.
Yeah. I like how he spins his gun. I think for like a whole year, I was spinning my toy gun around my finger when after I saw that film.
It was cool too how they tied it back to his family because it was his son that wanted him to be able to do that.
Yeah.
The spin gun.
Actually, that's the first time I kind of noticed that scene. I mean, I've noticed it before, but that was the first time it actually dawned on me what that was about. I like that. There's details like that. The guy who gets melted is one of my favorite parts.
Oh yeah, that's really like out of a horror movie. You don't expect it either.
I have a sorry, keep going.
He just randomly crashes into the toxic waste and gets all like melted.
And then he just runs into him and he just goes everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he gets run over. Poor guy.
Really? Because he was a killer and he'd robbed.
That's
I'm
true.
Sure he killed someone, and he did shoot the hero.
Yeah, that's true. He was like one of the worst ones. What trips me out now when I go back and watch that movie, though, is the main bad guy is the dad from That 70s Show.
Oh, no way. Yeah. It's pretty crazy. He's been a bad guy in a couple of films. I couldn't name them off my head right now. But he has been in a couple of other movies as a bad guy. It's actually really interesting who's been a bad guy in movies. And then they go on and do, like, comedies or sitcoms or just stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Liam Neeson.
What comedies does he do?
Well, he was in like a bunch of romantic films, and now he's like, I have a set of skills. I have a set of skills.
Once those Taken movies came out, he kind of turned into a tough guy. Although, did he do Batman Begins first or Taken?
I think he did he did Batman Begins first. Yes.
Batman Begins first.
So he was a tough guy in that too.
Yeah, he was a bad guy in that. No, it's just really interesting. I like to see that. Like Jet Li, who I watched in Hong Kong films for ages in Once Upon a Time and all that, he's the good guy. But then when he came to America and he did Lethal Weapon, he was the bad guy. And he was also the bad guy, I think, in the third Mummy film. And it's just very strange to see some guy that I've seen jump around and kick the bad guys in the face and fight on sales and stuff. Actually kick Mel Gibson's ass and like take a gun apart with one hand. So it's very, very strange when you see like an actor who's doing this, who you know for this, and now he's done all this other stuff before that. I mean, Brian Brown, I think, is a bad guy. He's an Australian actor, and he was mainly in Australian drama shows, and then he was a bad guy in something. I can't remember the name of it. I'm probably wrong, but I know he was in a lot of Australian dramas before he made it big. Anyway, we're back to RoboCop. Kind of went off tangent there. RoboCop. I give it a solid 9 out of 10.
Right on. Yeah, honestly, of the movies in the list you made, like for me, RoboCop really kind of stood out. Just it's one I saw at the not in the theater, but on VHS when I was like way too young. Like 12 would have been a lot better. I think it was like 8 or 9.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was weird because RoboCop was marketed to kids pretty heavily too. Like there were all kinds of toys and stuff. So growing up, like RoboCop and Terminator and things like that were just kind of. It's weird because looking back, they are really violent, but they're also just kind of part of the culture.
Yeah, like Conan the Barbarian had a cartoon series. I used to watch that every morning.
Yeah.
I think RoboCop had a television series and a cartoon.
Man, nine's pretty high though, but I don't know. It was really good for its time. And you notice too, in a lot of ways, it didn't take itself too seriously, like the little commercials that cut in and stuff.
Yeah, I love that stuff. Like the second one even put it more because Frank Miller, was it Frank Miller who wrote the first or the second one? I know he came in at one point and wrote the script for one of them.
I don't know.
Okay. I thought you were the DC guy. No, that's fine. Okay, well, you say 9.
Frank Miller wrote Marvel and DC both.
That's true.
9, I don't know. I mean, I love that movie, but 9's that's pretty high. Like, it's not flawless by any means. Like when the guy at the very end gets shot out of the window, the main bad guy, and his arms just look like. Have you seen still shots of that? Where his arms are way too long. Yeah. Some of the graphics aren't too good, but in other ways, they did a lot with what they could do at the time. Like Ed 209, you can tell that's you can tell that's a little stop motion model if you watch it and you're really going to be a dick about it. But that was another thing I wanted to mention in Commando too. When he's blowing up the barracks and the main bad guy's base, you can really tell some of those soldiers are dummies. But it's just Did you notice that too?
And if you notice that when they're flying the plane, in the background you can clearly see it's blue screen because of the bleeding.
Yeah, when she's flying the plane when they first take off.
Yep. And you see we have to go to the island, and you see the windows clearly blue screen because the bleeding is kind of. And then you can't watch these movies on really nice televisions and like all that we've got today because the glaring mistakes come out really sharply. Like I watched The Mummy 2 and the special effects in that are terrible, and you can definitely see it when you watch it on a nice HD TV. You're like, why did I like this at the time? It's terrible.
Yeah, right. Well, it's some of that stuff they were able to just get away with because you couldn't see it so well.
I still love it. I still love it.
Gosh, RoboCop is really good. I mean, it's like a scale of 1 to 10 out of 80s action movies, not like all movies, right?
No, just like what your
I guess if Commando is a 7, then RoboCop would be a 9. That sounds about right.
Okay, well, I've got 9 too. So actually, back
it's
to
one of those.
Sorry, keep going.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Go back to Ed 209. The very first time you see it, it's insane, the detail on that. The way the legs move, the pistons, there's little round things that spin when the legs move. It's insanely detailed model.
Yeah.
That moves insanely detailed too. So somebody spent like a couple of 100 hours on that thing and made sure it looked really good, because it looked really good.
They spent a lot of money on that, I'm sure.
Yeah, far out. Okay, so next film. You watched Scarface. I actually haven't watched that for a little while.
Oh yeah, I watched that last night. I was like, oh my God. I couldn't believe it, because it's one of those movies people always talk about. And yeah, I hadn't watched it in ages, and this time I really sat down and watched it, and I was just on the edge of my seat the whole time. It's drama, like high drama. But man, a lot of bad stuff happens too. Like the main character is clearly not a hero.
No. No, to tell the truth, the first time I watched it, I thought he'd survive. That sounds like, but I hadn't seen it. So I thought, well, he's like kind of the main character. He's probably going to get away with it or something. But no.
That would be kind of cool if you thought that, because, you know, I kind of had it spoiled for me. Like that scene is parodied so many times. I knew he didn't make it.
Yeah. I think South Park did a whole thing on it where it was chicken instead of drugs. First you'll get the chicken, then you get the
some of it too was like shot by shot parody, like when they kill the Omar with the throw him out of the helicopter.
Oh, I haven't seen in a little while, but
oh yeah, when
yes,
Tony...
I remember that bit.
Yeah,
when he first meets the cartel. Yeah, and he throws the guy out because it's like, you know, this is what's going to happen to you if you disobey us, or if you go against us. Kind of an example.
Yeah, well, they said he was a cop, and it's real interesting too, because it's never really proven if he was or wasn't. I think he probably was, but I don't know. In any case, yeah, they parody that exactly in South Park, that same scene.
Yeah, no, it's his fault. Scarface's fault. Everything that happens is his fault. If he had, I don't know, I say restraint, but we're talking about Scarface here. Even from the beginning, he wasn't about constraint. When he first, facing, I think it was the chainsaw scene, that was freaking insane.
Ooh, yeah. That movie got an X rating. They had to edit it down like 4 times because of that chainsaw scene. And finally, they got so tired of it getting an X rating that they did this whole thing where they had to go before a big committee, and they had like Roger Ebert, and I was reading about this last night, and a bunch of other people stand up for it and say that it was worth, like, since it's such a good movie, it should get an R rating. So they finally relented and gave it an R rating. But yeah, they ended up not editing it down anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy. I know your rating system is voluntary in America, but it can affect sales and distribution. If you have, in Australia, we have a rating system that's enforced by the law. Like there's we have movie critics in Australia. I've forgotten their names, an old man and an old woman, and they went and saw a film that was banned in Australia called Ken Park. I don't know if you've heard of it or not.
No.
It's about adolescence and sex and stuff. And the movie was banned in Australia because it shows about kids about 18 or 19 having sex and stuff. And it's about sex and it's about violence and all that stuff. I've forgotten who the director is. I think he did Crash. I can't remember. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, so get this. They got arrested. They were at the cinema got raided and they got arrested. How insane is that? That would never happen in America. That would never happen in America. But in Australia,
no.
You can get a fine if you view an illegal movie. If a movie is being banned by Australia, you can get in trouble, big trouble. Same with video games. Same with books. Too.
Yeah. Really? I know you guys were harsh on video games.
That's why I love America, because you guys just okay, so there's your censorship is voluntary, but it can't be enforced by the law. even though it's probably enforced by like social norms and financial norms.
Yeah, pretty much. Because if you have an X rating, you're not going to be able to be in like 90% of theaters. So that would have really sank the movie.
Yeah. So yeah, I watched that documentary all about it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's really interesting. I don't know. For when it was made, it seems like they really put just a crazy amount of effort into it. I will say though, the last act is where it goes a little off the rails. Like when he kills his best friend, I'm just like, okay. I mean I don't know. There's just no going back for his character after that. It's like, oh, that sucks.
But
I don't know too.
That's
Didn't
his character, though. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, I mean, it made sense, but it just changed the whole tone of the movie so much. I guess that was like where the movie was basically over at that point, because his sister was never going to forgive him, and like it was his only real friend. And
yeah, she died too, though, didn't she? She got shot.
Yeah, she dies bad, gets machine gunned by one of the other guys.
Yeah. So he kind of killed everybody if you think about it.
Yep.
If you could keep it in, and his little first you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the women. It's kind of like a very narrow worldview if you think about it. So what happens when once you get the money and you get the power and you get the women? What do you get after that? Dead.
Yeah. Well, he's real miserable once he gets everything.
Yeah, precisely, and I think that's kind of what the movie was saying. I guess it has a anti-capitalist message to it, I guess.
You think so?
Well, everybody says that when the guy indulges himself too much and then ends up dying.
Oh, and he hates communists.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Who was the director of that? That's a good point.
Oh, man, I looked at that yesterday. I know Oliver Stone wrote it, but someone else directed it. It's someone real famous, though. We should know stuff like that offhand.
We should. Well, that's what the internet's created for.
Yeah, that's why our memories are probably trash. Let's see, director Brian De Palma.
Oh, Brian De Palma. Oh, yeah. He's awesome.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. He did The Untouchables, which is a brilliant film.
Wow, Scarface is only 82% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm a little surprised. I think it's real controversial. I mean, it's not perfect by any means, but it's just like, what the fuck did I just watch? You know, because like the main character is not the hero. Like he's a bad guy. There aren't any heroes in this movie, as far as I can tell. There aren't really. No, even the cops are bad.
Well, yeah, it's drugs. I think that's probably maybe the message of the film. Like, get involved in drugs.
I mean,
drugs, you're shot.
Yeah, I guess it does have a very strong moral if you think about it that way.
Well, he did Mission Impossible. He did Carlotto's Way, which I really, really like. Black Dahlia. Scarface, of course.
Oh.
Carrie. He did
Well,
Carrie.
the audience. Really? Wow. Well, the audience score is 93%, so the critics gave it 82.
Okay, so announced he might be directing Predator? I thought that was, what's his name? Shane Black. Yeah, I love Shane Black. Shane Black is
for real.
Lethal
That'd be
Weapon.
a good.
Sorry?
That would be a good segue into Predator.
Oh yes, Predator. No, wait, that's Terminator.
Right.
No, that's actually, to tell the truth, I haven't watched it in a little while, but I did do a quick go over it and watch some stuff on YouTube about it. And that black guy gets his arm blown off. And he just doesn't, he's like, and he starts trying to shoot, but then the Predator killed him. But when I remember I watched that first time, it's like the Predator is killing everyone and nobody has a chance in hell. How is this hunting? Really, because it's not really a challenge for the Predator. He can go invisible. He's got a laser thing going on. He's got like these 10-inch claw things he's got that slide out of his thing. The only way Arnold Schwarzenegger won is because he covered himself in mud.
Yeah, and he didn't even know to do that. It just was luck.
Yeah. So, it's a bit overpowered, aren't you, Predator? You're just a little overpowered.
I guess, though, he was fighting. I mean, in theory, he had to fight like Was it 5 or 6 guys?
That's true.
So it's like 5 or 6 to 1. But yeah, it was very one-sided, and it's not like he announces that he's there. He just starts killing them.
I remember that film. It started out as a war film in a way, going out there and
Yep.
Storming in Vietnam. I think it's probably
No, they're like in the South American jungle, I thought.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're probably right. It's either or in the 80s, isn't it? It's either Vietnam or...
Right. It's just like a generic jungle that they go to. I think they say at some point that it's in a Latin American country.
New Jersey.
Could be. Could have been filmed in Florida or something. But it is like a conventional kind of commando thing at first, where they're just on a mission and stuff, and then it starts getting weird with the predator, and they find those guys that are skinned and hung in the tree. Remember that? They come up from those 3 guys. It's like the first thing they find.
Oh, who did this?
Yeah, really.
But imagine seeing that film for the first time, eh? I mean, did they spoil the actual predator himself when they first showed the trailer?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. I watched it, as you know, I posted a bunch of trailers up for those films, and it's really interesting. It's really interesting. I just want to talk about the trailers, for instance. It's the way how much that they reveal in the trailers. Today we have social media and the internet and Twitter and Facebook, and movies can get instantly spoiled. Like, I mean, 4chan spoiled the Avengers and Deadpool for me. But really? Somebody posted the script for Avengers, or the outline of Avengers Avengers Infinity, and I stupidly read it.
That sucks, dude. I was surprised. Like, I probably everyone suspected, but man, I was right up until the end. I was like, okay, what's gonna happen? And they all start turning into dust. I was like, no, why?
I like the pictures of Captain America sweeping up, and it says Captain America getting together.
There's a lot of those like that. There's like Iron Man at the beach with like make little sand castles out of everyone's ashes and stuff. Brutal.
But no, back then the trailers were like the Back to the Future trailer gave you like 5 seconds, and you like had to kind of guess. And then they had that song that Marty Through Time song. What's it called? Back Through Time. You know, that 80s song that they had going through the first movie. And it doesn't give you anything. And then you look at Commando, which literally gives you everything. Like, all the best lines are in that trailer. So it's very strange, like, to see, like, I call it the sketching of these things that we now know is just normal. Like, we will do it like this, and then people come back and say, oh, they did it like that, so we'll do a little like this. You know what I mean? Like, it's when you're drawing a picture and you keep drawing it and keep drawing it, and then it becomes really nice and everything. And that's what it feels like, the evolution of trailers. I should have just used that word instead of going on.
Yeah, that makes sense. So they used to give away too much.
Yeah, either too much or too little. It depended on and nowadays it's like, I don't know, if you go on social media, it gets ruined for you. Or if you go to the cinema, sometimes they give you way too much, like that new Asian film, Super Rich Asians.
Oh,
yeah, they just gave you everything. I don't have to see that film. I did. Just gave me everything. We know exactly what's going to happen now. It's actually hilarious. The Simpsons did a joke like that, where Homer was watching the trailer for the new McBain film. Is it McBain? Yeah, McBain. And he goes, "Do you want to rent it, sir?" And he goes, "No, I just saw the best pirates." And he's
right. I remember that. I think he's in a Blockbuster type place watching a TV, right?
Yeah.
They're like, okay, do you want to rent this now? And he's like, no, I just saw it. Why would I? Yeah, so, McBain is like their 80s action movie guy. He's like their Arnold, right?
Yeah. That is the joke.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Suck, McBain. You suck, McBain. Get off the stage. And he starts throwing grenades at him.
Oh, God. Anyway, back to Predator. Where were we? Oh, yeah. So I found out a way of defeating the Predator. Just drop your gun, act normal, and then when his back's turned, stab him.
Oh, that could maybe work.
Well, he doesn't attack people with no guns.
If they have a weapon of some kind, he will.
I don't know. Maybe drop the knife on the ground and just say, "I'm just shopping. I'm just walking down the street shopping," and then Predator's like,
Would that work?
I don't know. I just like we know that he only attacks people who are a direct threat to him.
Yeah,
because remember the Spanish lady wasn't killed, and he walked right past her. So just act like an innocent person. You remember in the second one, he killed all those people in the train because they all had guns. Because it's New York in the 80s, and it's exactly how New York is in the 80s. That's what people say anyway.
That's how the rest of the country is, but New York's they're pretty cracked down nowadays.
Yeah. I remember watching movies that were set in New York, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and a bunch of other films, and it's like, man, they need to clean New York up. It's dirty.
Yeah, they really did, but man, in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, especially in the 70s, actually, but yeah, in the 80s too, it was really trashy and crime-ridden and stuff. But now it's very, especially post 9/11, it's like so locked down.
Yeah, I noticed that when I was over there. When
I
went. Sorry.
Go ahead.
When I went to Central, where the big train station,
Grand Central Station.
Yeah, that one. I can never remember the names of these things. Yeah, no, there were soldiers everywhere, like freaking full guard with the machine guns, and I wouldn't want anyone to start anything. Get your ass shot off.
Well, they remember when the Predator showed up that one time.
Yeah, but wouldn't they just get killed because they have guns?
Yeah, that's true. So if the Predator shows up, just throw down everything.
Yeah, just put your hand up in the air. Up, no.
Yeah, I mean, you'll die either way, so you might as well try.
And you'll have your skull mounted on a I don't know, a table in the Predator ship. What do you think of the new Predators? Actually, what's your feeling about the new Super Predators?
I don't know the difference. I mostly just know the original movie.
Oh, you haven't seen the trailer for the new one? It's a new one. Shane Black is directing.
Yep. I heard about it, but yeah, I didn't watch the trailer for it.
Okay. Well, now there's Super Predators. So first we had Dog Predators. Now we've got Super Predators. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I guess you just can't remake these films because they are films of their time. Like you could never remake Commando nowadays. I don't think, unless you firmly stuck your tongue in your cheek when you're making it, because it's really. First of all, you couldn't just drive around a city in America. Where was it set? What was it? New York?
I don't think so. Oh, is it? Well, he had to fly from where they were to that island pretty quick. I feel like it was in California or Florida.
Well,
I don't know if they said specifically.
Well, for starters, you definitely couldn't drive a bulldozer through a freaking sports store.
Well, I'm pretty sure even in the 80s, an alarm would have went off, but he did get arrested for that. So
you definitely couldn't have a punch up in the freaking middle of a shopping center. I don't know. I don't think it would. Well, he got arrested for that too. Well, he nearly got arrested. Then he just punched everyone.
Yeah, I mean, they tried. They sent like so many security guards at him that what they should have done was brought some real cops. Although maybe they were. I don't know. They had guns.
Well, the guy that she pushed down the stairs looked like a cop.
Okay, yeah, that's right. He had a different uniform too. Because the security guys all had like brown, and that guy had black.
Guess we're going back to the
too. She was willing to just like throw everything away too, like her job and her car and everything, to just go with him.
Oh well, what an accent, man! How can you say no? She was like, sorry, keep going.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I did notice when he's like rowing to the island after she flies him there, and he's just wearing his Speedo. There's like I don't know, like 20 seconds of just her staring at him. I'm like, I see how it is.
I was staring at him. Have you
It's
seen
hard
those
not to.
Oh man,
This is like straight up Arnold porn sometimes. Like they always show him like sleeveless carrying something with his muscles bulging out. It's like, oh man, you guys aren't subtle. Like it even starts off, he's carrying that big log and walking down the hill to his house.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, and
right?
that it's I don't know. Like the his relationship with his daughter was very very physical.
Okay, I wasn't sure if we were gonna go there, but I was gonna say, like, especially that one scene where she's like makes them sandwiches and stuff. It was just very like, is this your wife or your daughter? Like, I don't know. It was kind of weird.
I know.
They didn't.
Sorry.
And their kiss on the lips and stuff all the time and stuff. And like, I mean, I think they're just very affectionate, but sometimes I was like, this is a little strange.
Yes, I know. I've seen that in a couple of films actually. But no, somehow we got back to Commando. We'll just call this the Commando live stream. We keep talking about it.
Yeah.
But it's a very an 80s. It's a very much an 80s action film. It's like it was done in I've got it here somewhere. Commando 1985. 80. Yeah. So so let's go backwards. Mad Max 2.
Road Warrior? Oh, was it not called Road Warrior in Australia?
It's called Mad Max 2, but we'll go with Road Warrior just to stop the confusion.
No, that is interesting, though. I forgot they had two different names. Yeah, here they didn't call it Mad Max 2. They just called it Road Warrior, which...
Sorry, keep going.
If you think about it, Mad Max 2 would make more sense.
Well, you guys never got the first one. I don't think you did.
Oh, no. I think we did, but it was like way later or something. I think you're right, though. That was why.
There was a video game on the Super Nintendo, and they called it Outlander when it was released in America. So it wasn't very good, as you can probably guess. Yes, that's Mad Max 2. See, from my perspective, that's everyday life. Like, I'm like using chains against other commuters on the freeway, and you know, eating insects and witchetty grubs. When you first saw it, what was your feeling about it or your experience?
Just kind of like how, in some ways, it's got a real realism to it just because of the budget they had to work with. And like, it was all on location and they're like, all right, we're just going to do this and film it. And like some of the brutality in it too. Like when I was a kid, I watched Beyond Thunderdome a lot. Like I've seen that movie more than the other two quite a bit. But as I've gotten older, I watched Road Warrior a few times. And I was like, yeah, this is pretty good. But the brutality and the realism of it is more there too. Like, you know, they chase down that one vehicle and they like kill the guy and rape the girl or woman. And he goes over and kills them, the bad guys. But it's just like a nonchalant thing. It's just like part of life. Like he doesn't even seem like upset or remorseful. It's just like what happens. And I was just like, damn, that's some hardcore shit. But overall, you know, the action and everything's pretty good. And they really did a lot with what they had. It's a good movie, I think. And like their whole little compound, and they've got the bad guys that are laying siege to it with all their cars and stuff, and the villains so over the top. And
I like the little boy with the was it a little boy or a little girl with the boomerang?
It's a boy.
Was it a boy? Okay, a little kid with the boomerang, and then the guy tried to catch it. Yeah, and he tried to catch it, and it chopped his fingers off.
Oh man, that was brutal. Never try to catch a boomerang.
No, especially in Australia.
Right?
Yeah, so if you ever come here, that's like it's on the top of the list of things you shouldn't do, along with don't steal the koalas. Don't do that.
Sounds good.
It's interesting.
Were we giving
we
giving scores to these still?
Oh yeah, we forgot. What would you give? What was the last one? Predator. I'll give that a solid 8.
And was there Scarface too, or no?
Oh yeah, Scarface. It's been a while since I've seen it, so you can give it a score.
I'd probably give it a 9.
9 9.
Predator, man, Predator is a good movie. I don't want to just give these all 9s. What is something that reduces the score on Predator? Like, why is it an 8 and not a 10?
The first part, the opening part, is very generic, I guess. Like, it's just them shooting up a terrorist town or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a little while for the Predator to come in. Some of the special effects compared to today are very dated, especially when he's invisible. Although I can't really compare.
Oh, yeah.
It still looks pretty good. I don't know. There's not much, actually, to tell the truth. There's, yeah. No.
I guess I'll go with 9 for Predator.
I went with 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're each giving a score to all of them, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay.
You just add them up, and then it'd be like 17, 16, whatever. And
so you gave Scarface a 9, and you gave.
So you have to give Scarface a score too, then.
Yeah. Oh well, I'll give it an 8 because I haven't seen it for a while, and I should have really watched it because I knew we were going to talk about it.
Oh, it's all good. There's so much stuff to try and watch and catch up on. Like, there was a bunch of movies I wanted to rewatch and just didn't have time.
Okay. There we go. Okay. So Mad Max.
Yeah.
I give it a 7 because there are moments in it that are a little. I mean, takes a little while to, and a lot of the characters die horribly. I'm just trying to find excuses to give it a lower score. That poor girl goes under the wheels at the start. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and like they've got those people like tied to the front of their vehicles for part of it. There's some messed up stuff. 7 sounds about right, though. I mean, it just didn't have the budget that these others did. Like even Predator, I looked at that. It had, it had like a $20 million budget. So I guess it's not huge, but not tiny either. Makes me wonder what Road Warrior had.
Okay, so you haven't seen this, but I want to talk about it because I actually watched it last night. And Tango and Cash.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Stallone and god damn it, I can't believe Kurt Russell. Yeah, Kurt Russell. Now, big fan of Rambo, of course. Rocky Balboa. Big fan of Big Trouble in Little China. Big fan of New York, Escape from New York. It's very interesting, this film. I was watching it, and the opening scene is Stallone is trying to stop a big truck, like a big gas truck. And so he drives past it, and then he swerves in front of it and gets out and points his gun at it, shoots the window twice, and then the bad guys freak, put on the brakes, and fly out the window, like smash through the window and land on the ground. It's exactly the same as a movie called Police Story starring Jackie Chan. Other than the fact that it's not a truck, it's a bus, but it's literally scene from scene. There's a comparison I think I threw it up on Twitter a couple of days ago. It's scene from scene. Other than that, it's Jackie Chan and not Stallone and it's a bus. The guys fall out the window. Jackie Chan fires at the bus twice. I don't think he fires, but he fires in the air. The guys freak out. They hit the brakes and they fly out the window. It's like literally, and it's not the first time Hollywood has literally lifted a scene from a Jackie Chan film. Bad Boys 2. Have you seen Bad Boys 2?
Yeah.
There's a scene where I think it's set in Mexico or something, where Bruce Willis and the annoying one, I forgot his name, are driving down a hill and smashing through a shanty town.
Yeah.
That is from the same freaking film, from Police Story, the first Police Story. Jackie Chan gets into a car and he's chasing the back. That's it. That's actually predates that scene with the bus. He's trying to catch up to the bus, and the only way he can do it is go down and out and through this shanty town. So he drives, and get this, they did this in one take. They did this whole entire stunt in one take, which was normal for Jackie Chan films because they did everything in one take. Are you dead, Jackie? No. Let's go to the next scene. And he drove through this shanty town right to the bottom, and then he stopped the. In the Bad Boys 2 version, they stopped every couple of hours to make sure that the actors were safe and stuff. So I like to see it as how Hollywood is full of like, I'm gonna die, unlike Hong Kong movies where it's like, are you dead? No, let's get this going. But it's very interesting.
Yeah.
And Tango and Cash has a very Hong Kong movie feel to it. I've seen a lot of action Hong Kong movies, Project A, Police Story movies, Drunken Master, Chow Yun-fat films like Better Tomorrow, The Killer, Hard Boiled Cop. And Tango and Cash has a very, very similar feel to it than that Hong Kong movies do. Kind of that carefree, dangerous, but kind of cool. And the fact is, they lifted a scene from Police Story. And it's interesting. The movie's more about a prison. It's more of a prison break movie. And then it does what most Hong Kong movies do: escalate everything. There's a scene in Police Story 1 when Jackie Chan loses his mind at the main bad guy. And he punches this guy through every conceivable piece of glass in this what is it? A shopping center or a store. And he just throws this poor bugger through glass and glass smashing everywhere. And the film. The thing of the film is it's slowly escalated to this. It's like, other than the couple of stunts where he's literally falling down hills and stopping buses and everything, it's a police drama with a bit of action, and then at the end it just escalates. It's like, fuck it, rules are out the window. And that's what Tango and Cash do. They get an armored vehicle with a machine gun on the side and smash into the bad guy's lair and start shooting everyone. Where's your reason to do this? Like, oh, the guy framed us. You don't know that. Where's the evidence he did that? But because
they always go over the top in these movies, like even Commando, like he's just killing people all over the place. Like, just like, just kidnaps this lady for his plan. And plus two, he kidnaps her to have her drive her car, but like he just steals her car later and leaves her behind. And then, she runs out and gets in. It's like, I don't know. The law and like normalcy is just totally out the window.
It's something I've realized that if you need to get somewhere and need a car, just steal a car, because you have to save your daughter or you have to save your husband.
Yeah.
You just like that car, you can steal it, and the police go, "Why did you steal it?" "Oh, I had to save my daughter, because bad guys." "Oh, that's fine. You're free to go." Like,
yeah.
Just like, it's fine. It's fine. But no,
it's fine.
Tango and Cash is very interesting. It was directed by Andrei Konchalovsky, I can't even say that, Konchalovsky, who directed fairly artsy films. So I'm looking on IMDb because I'm a cheater. Slave of Love, The Fierce One, The Seventh Bullet, Boshri for, I think most of them are freaking, no, that's his written. Sorry, I'm looking at his writing credits. His directing credits: Homer and Eddie, Shy People, Runaway Train, The Nest of Gentry. Like, all these films are the one's got something I can't even pronounce. Bella Noche. I don't even want to attempt that. But it's just very interesting. And also, like, after they got through all the bad guys and killed everyone, it clearly looked like that too. As in, it didn't look like that at all. Is that the last of them? I don't know. I can't tell. It was just a bunch of explosions, people falling down, some trucks falling off stuff and then exploding. And then they get into the actual building, and there's the two underlings, and then him, and then one other guy, which was the guy who was a British guy. He was an American playing a British guy, and they stuck a grenade down his pants and kicked him down the stairs. They shot the Asian guy, like, immediately. The Asian guy is like got a gun, and then he hit a click, and then he just shoots him. He doesn't say freeze or put your weapons down. He just goes and shoots the Asian guy. How do we know the Asian guy was just like, I don't know, testing his gun or something? I don't know. I just think sometimes they really like just throw the law out the window when it comes to these films. It's hilarious. But Tango and Cash is interesting because it starts as a cop thing, and then it goes into a prison kind of prison drama, not prison drama, but a prison film because they're trying to get out of the prison. And it has a really, really good line, especially between Sly Stallone and Kurt Russell. They really bounce off each other really well. I highly recommend watching it just for the lines because they're really funny and they really. I like to see more films with them in it, although probably not nowadays, but still, it'd be pretty cool. And Terry Hatcher was his sister, and she was hot. Damn.
Yeah.
She is. If you want to see that movie just for her, damn. She was always freaking hot though. So yeah, you hadn't seen that. I highly recommend seeing it just for the hell of it.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's crazy. I pretty much gave the entire plot away. But no, it's cool, and it's a strange one because it's not really typical action 80s action film. It's not like Commando where he has to save somebody. These guys are clearing their name because they got framed for killing an FBI agent, which they didn't. And it's interesting because Sly Stallone is the rich cop and he's got the suit and all that, and Kurt Russell is the kind of slobby guy, but he has like he has a gun in his shoe and all that. And they've got this and there's another thing that's very Hong Kongy, which is something I've noticed. They've got like a guy who invents stuff for him, and the way the tone of the film is, I don't know. It felt like more of a Hong Kong movie than an American film. It's interesting. It's directed by, I think he's like Moscow. He's Russian, so there you go. It's interesting. So it's an American action film that feels like a Hong Kong directed by a Russian guy.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, I recommend it. I give it 6 because it's not brilliant, but it's fun.
Oh.
And the ending kind of it's kind of a crazy, over the top tank machine gun ending. So the subtlety
really
goes out the window halfway through, which is a shame because it felt really, the way they did it was really subtle, and then they threw out. They threw that all out at the end. It's like whatever. We'll just have an armored tank with a machine gun on the side. It's a bit like Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass introduced that damn rocket launcher. I mean, rocket pack and all that. And I was like, it completely took me out of the film. So
yeah,
that's the major problem I had. So I'll give it a 6. It's fun. Kurt Russell and Sly Stallone. You can't go wrong with those guys. It's just the ending that I think lets it down. For me, that's for me though.
That's cool. I'll let you know what I think of it when I check it out.
Yeah, definitely check it out.
I mean, it sounds worth watching, if nothing else, right?
Yeah. Oh, if you can get it, if you watch it for free. How do you watch your movies on Netflix or?
Yeah, generally, I have some of these. I watch relatively often. I like RoboCop. I have a DVD of and stuff. I still have DVDs of things, but I have digital copies too.
Me too. Most of my movies are digital nowadays.
Yeah, it takes up a lot less room.
And you can access it instantly, unlike a CD or a DVD or a Blu-ray.
For real. I get lazy about that stuff. I'm like, I'd watch that, but it's on a DVD, and I got to open a case and put a disc in a player, and it's such a hassle.
Used to do.
Imagine someone from 1960. If you told them that, they'd be like, "What the fuck? You can watch a movie with a magic disc?" Like, oh yeah, I guess you can.
Okay, so what else did you catch up on other than those two?
You had a whole list, but the two that I watched RoboCop and Scarface and Commando. So I think we talked about all those.
Okay. What about Beverly Hills Cop? Oh
yeah, it's a classic. A little more lighthearted.
Yeah. But it's still, again, it escalates at the end, doesn't it? Most of these action films do kind of escalate at the end, don't they?
Yeah, it's almost like a trope of it. They just get more and more so.
Yeah, I thought the third one, although I haven't seen the third one as much as the first and second, I think Beverly Hills Cop 2 is a better film than 1. I still like 1. And I think it's probably because, what's his name? Eddie Murphy was still kind of like getting into the groove of doing films. It was like his second film, Beverly Hills Cop.
Could be.
And they really try to sell him. No, it's probably a bit more than that actually, because I think he did Boomerang and Distinguished Gentleman and all that, and Trading Places. Way before.
Oh man, I love Trading Places. You know, maybe another one we could do is like 80s comedies.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Trading Places, and what was the other one? Coming to America?
48 Hours, Trading Places, then Best Defense, which I've never seen. Beverly Hills Cop, then Golden Child, Cop 2, Coming to America, Harlem Nights, which I heard was a flop. Another 48 Hours, Boomerang, Distinguished. Oh, I was wrong. No, I was right and wrong. It's his third film.
Okay, well, pretty early.
Yeah. So he did a lot of Saturday Night Live before he did that, and that laugh.
Oh yeah.
But no, I really love that film. It's pretty crazy. And another thing that actually brings me back to that actually is the blatant disregard for life. You notice that? They just shoot people. It's like bang, bang. They don't even care. Like even if the guy's not pointing at them or they're not even doing much. Something I noticed in Tango and Cash, they just mow people down. Like as I was saying, the Asian guy whose gun locked up, they just shot the guy. They didn't say, freeze, get on the floor, we're going to handcuff you. They're just like, sorry, keep going.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I mean, if you're a gangster, like if you're Scarface, you could do that, but they're supposed to be cops, so yeah, it is a little silly, but it's all good.
Lethal Weapons like that too. No, I love it. That's like questioning that kind of crazy kind of I guess you call it action movie physics or laws, that if he's on the bad side, you can just shoot his ass. If you need a car to get somewhere, you can just steal a random car and there's no consequences. Punching cops is fine because you're trying to stop the bad guys.
Right.
Sorry about punching you, Lieutenant Wilson. That's fine. Did you get your daughter back? Yeah. Oh, that's fine.
Well, in that Commando thing where he fights all those cops, some of those cops die because of the other guy shooting.
Yes. Yeah. Like that's the thing. This is the disregard for life. It's like, dang, he's dead. Yeah. Like,
well, in Commando
1. Sorry, go.
Oh, we'll definitely have to talk about Terminator, but yeah, in Commando, within the first 5 minutes, they kill like 3 or 4 people because they do all those hits on his, partners or whatever.
Yeah, like my question is, if that guy didn't jump on the front of the car, what would he have done? Would he stop the car and shot the guy?
On which part?
Right at the beginning, they shoot the guy taking out the garbage.
Oh, yeah.
And then the black guy steals the Cadillac. But he runs the guy over, but the guy only got run over because he jumped on the car. What if he didn't jump on the car?
I don't know.
I mean, I just think
I'm sure
too much.
Yeah, they would have killed him still for sure.
Yeah, backed over him or something. Did they even kill him though? It didn't look that bad.
I don't know.
Oh well. Again, suspension of disbelief, I guess. Suspension of belief.
Yeah. And some people will die really easily, but others have to get shot like 1,500 times. It just depends how important the character is.
That's true. That guy right at the end of Commando, going back to Commando, he throws him into the electricity, and you think that's it for him. I have to admit, when I was watching, I thought that's it. He's going to get electrocuted. And he just comes back. Comes back, and then he throws the pipe into him. It's like, what does he say? Let off some steam.
Yeah, it's just so silly.
But yeah, let's get to Terminator.
Terminator.
Wow. Oh, dun, 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 dun. Man, that is really like a horror film more than an action film if you think about it.
Yeah. Suspense,
and actually I watched a really good video on it about the themes of it, and the theme, like at the beginning, Sarah Connor was very reluctant to go with Sarah Connor was very reluctant to go with Kyle, because this stranger out of nowhere is saying you have to come with me. He's manhandled you, thrown you in the car, and at the same time all your friends are getting killed and shot and all that by this like by Arnold Schwarzenegger, who doesn't seem to be able to stop. And then the guy was saying she kind of came around, let them. She took like her position as the getting protected and all that. And then at the end, when she has to become tough, it's because she has to fill in where her man died, because Kyle Reese died. And so she kind of has to take over. And that's why she's constantly looking for a father figure for what's his name? Edward Furlong. Edward Furlong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. But it was a very interesting...
John Connor?
John Connor, that's it. John Connor. But it was very interesting, and it really does cover it. And they were talking about the latest Terminator movie, and I use that in I use that in quotes. Yeah, and apparently that's going to be all women in that film, and it's like,
oh boy,
I don't know. Hey, it could be good. It could be good, but you know, have they been?
If
good?
the last like several Terminators hadn't been bad, or at least not that great. Like, I really just like the first two for the most part. I mean, the other ones have parts that are good, but compared to the first two, they just don't really stack up, especially Terminator 2, but that's from 90. That's another thing that's crazy. There was, what, 7 years between Terminator and Terminator 2?
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Yeah. But
these days, they wouldn't sit on them.
No. Well, was it James Cameron who held off? Or something?
Oh, is that why?
I don't know. I heard that you were trying to get the right script or something. I don't know. That's why it took so long for Incredibles 2 to come out, because Brad Bird.
Right script. That was even longer, huh? That was like 11, 12 years. No, longer. It was like 15 years. That came out in 2003.
Yeah, no, Terminator. Terminator 2 is 1990, so that would win every competition ever. Films, but
I'm thinking Terminator might win this one though. It's pretty freaking good.
Yeah, that's true. That whole scene with the police, man.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I heard there was a lot of a lot of problems with that scene.
I'm sure.
Yeah, massacring cops has got to be pretty bad. And I like how they refer to it in the second one. This guy just comes out of nowhere and he disappears, and then he comes back like 7 years later, and he's in like, but he didn't shoot. You notice that the second one doesn't have a very high body count.
No, they toned it down.
Yeah, I think it's like 4 people. The guy at the beginning. Oh, yeah, probably a bit more than that, because the T-1000 doesn't mind sticking his liquid metal knife things into people. Man, that scene where he comes out from the ground and turns into the fat guy.
Oh yeah,
and just like sticks his finger through his man. That scene.
The security guard guy.
I remember watching that with my dad, and my dad laughed through every violent scene. It was hilarious. He's like, the
really?
He sticks the knife through the guy when he's drinking the milk, and my dad laughed so loud. It was hilarious. I was like, "What? That's freaking horrific!" And you're laughing. But I was like 10 at the time, or something like that. I can't remember. I was young, and I just remember my dad laughing at that bit. That's hilarious. That guy got a knife through his face.
Yeah. Well, it's so unbelievable, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when you're talking about it being a horror movie, that's definitely how it felt as a kid too. Like, man, that'd be so scary, because he looked like a cop most of the time too. Like, he looks like someone you'd trust, but he's actually evil, and you're just like, oh, what the hell? I can't trust anyone,
Yeah, precisely. And in the first one, it's just an unrelenting force. The T-1000 is just an unrelenting force. It doesn't matter where you'll go, he'll keep following you. It doesn't matter what you do, he'll keep following you. It doesn't matter who you hide behind or where you go. She went to the police station. Look what happened there. He's an unrelenting force, and he'll do. And his single-mindedness is to kill her. And that's it. That's it. And there's nothing you can stop him, other than a press, I guess. And an explosion and all that. But you know what I mean. Only plot will kill him.
Yeah, it takes an absurd amount of damage.
Yeah. But no, it's a really good film. I haven't seen it in a little while. I should watch it again. But I remember that film. It did scare the baloney out of me. I do remember that much.
Yeah, it was pretty hardcore. And that was another one. It was like RoboCop, where it was real popular with kids. Like, remember being in grade school and we had, action figures from Terminator.
Yeah, there was one my mates got actually, where you dump the skin onto the exoskeleton, and it like and you push it. I think you press it, and it's like the skin, like the metal, the liquid skin. You know how he's got like flesh skin with the metal underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I remember stuff like that.
Yeah, my mate's got that toy. He went out there and looked for it and got it. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I remember just like the hard plastic Terminator, and it would be like, the regular Arnold with the leather coat and stuff. But then, yeah, you could like pop off half his face to see the robot underneath.
Yeah, my parents wouldn't let me have any of those toys. All I got was Turtles.
Right? Yeah, I had Ninja Turtles and G.I. Joes.
We didn't. G.I. Joe wasn't that big in Australia. I mean, we had some. We mainly had Lego, Turtles. Turtles was huge in Australia, freaking huge.
Yeah, Turtles was the biggest one when I was growing up too. But then G.I. Joe was probably second because all American heroes.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we all know Turtles was a rip-off of Biker Mice from Mars. God, can't even get their own ideas.
Right.
Remember Biker Mice from Mars? There was a whole thing where anamorphic animals was a whole thing because of the turtles, and we got the shark ones, Jawsome.
Oh yeah,
that's Jawsome.
The Street Sharks or something.
Yeah, that's it. Street Sharks. Street Sharks.
Yeah, I remember that vaguely.
Biker Mice from Mars was the other one. They were from Mars. It's their name. But yeah, they rode motorcycles instead of and solved crime. I guess I don't know. I never really watched that much of that, but I just remember that very distinctly. It's like there's just a bunch of freaking mutant animal characters that came out after the Turtles because everybody was trying to cash in on the Turtles. So,
yeah.
Well, that
was so huge.
It segues into the Turtles film, which was released in the 80s, I think.
Yeah. Probably late 80s.
You like it?
Yeah. I liked all that Ninja Turtles stuff. It's just so popular when I was growing up.
It's interesting that the Turtles aren't really the heroes or the center of that film. It's that kid.
Yeah. Oh man, 1990.
Oh, was it 1990?
Was when
okay.
I was thinking it was a little later because they had the cartoon was real popular in the 80s, and then the movie came.
Okay, we have to delete the last 5
Man, 1990 was a big year for movies.
Yeah, Terminator, Batman. Oh, wait, that's 1989. Sorry. I guess we can talk about Batman.
Oh, Batman 89. It's a good movie.
You know what? I had the not the novelization, the comic book version before I saw the film because my parents wouldn't let me see it. I think.
Yeah.
I was broke. I couldn't see it. And man, I loved that film when I first saw it. I freaking watched it 10 times, and to the point where I was trying to create a character similar to Batman. I think we all did that. Man, the first scene in it is when the bad guys like face him. Well, they always do that in the comic book movies where the good guy or the superhero introduces himself by beating up some street level thugs,
and
then it just kind of like escalates until he's like on a clock tower fighting some crazy guy in white paint.
Yeah.
But no, like everything about that film is bloody brilliant. There's a couple of things. I think there was a bit of a studio interference with that film at the time.
Oh.
That's what I heard anyway.
Especially with the Batman Returns, had a lot of studio interference.
Oh, I heard that he had free reign with that movie. That's why it's got that gothic look to it.
Oh yeah, that's right, huh? Because it is a lot darker.
Yeah, a lot more.
I was thinking, yeah. Oh no, that's right. They let him do what he wanted, but after that, there was kind of a course correction because they weren't able to market it to kids as much.
I love that film. I don't know which one do you think's better. Like, which one do you like more? I like the second one a little bit more than the first. I'm not saying I don't like the first one. I love the first one. The second one, I don't know. I like it a little
Yeah,
bit more because
I would agree. It's kind of the same situation with Terminator and Terminator 2, where they're both really good, but the sequel's a little better.
because I guess he was able to flex their muscles with it, or flex themselves a bit. Now
Yeah,
we've put this baseline world down. Now we can do something with it, and that's what.
and it had a lot more villains, characters.
Yeah. Well, that's also where it started, where they needed more than one villain in every freaking film. Oh.
Yeah, which that was cool too. That was kind of a big deal at the time.
But then everybody copied it and kind of scuttled it. If you think about it, look at Spider-Man 3. Really? Did we need that many villains in that? Sandman,
Yeah.
Venom, Hobgoblin, and there was one other. I can't remember. I don't know.
Sandman. Or you said that, huh?
Yeah. I might be wrong, but I just think there was too many villains in that film.
No, yeah, that's a real yeah, I've heard that that's like one of the main criticisms of that movie, actually.
The many others.
Yeah, that's the thing. That movie had a lot of problems because you can have a bunch of villains if you do it right, I think.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's something that I've noticed with Avenger films or the Marvel universe, is that they don't really concentrate on the villains. It'd be nice if they had like kind of a villain-esque movie, superhero movie.
Like Infinity War?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Infinity War kind of concentrated on Thanos a bit more than the rest.
I think so. It was like Thanos the movie.
Maybe, I don't know. A lot of people are saying that there's going to be a Spider-Man Sinister Six film.
That could be good. I think yeah, that'd be interesting.
I don't know. After like the last well, I don't know, Homecoming. I didn't really like Homecoming. I always think Spider-Man is a ground level, like street level
Yeah.
superhero. And when they start making him go against cosmic threats, it's like, oh no, I don't think so. It's like Batman. Why would Batman go against freaking Darkseid?
Yeah, well, he got his ass killed.
Yeah, that's true. There you go. They did.
In Final Crisis. Although, I haven't read the thing that comes after that, which apparently is like changes that story and made it not the case. But yeah, in Final Crisis, he gets hit with the Omega beams and he's boom, dead. I don't know how they undid that, but
he went through time.
Yeah, I know they did some kind of BS, but in the comics for a while, Batman was dead from that.
Yeah. And they was his Grayson picked up.
He did mortally wound Darkseid though, because he had this great. Yeah. Oh yeah, you've read it. It was pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. He shot him with that special gun, and that was supposed.
Do you know how he wasn't killed then, or how they changed that?
I just know that he went through time and met his ancestors, and they were all Batman.
I hate how they retcon big things like that. Like they should have just let Final Crisis be, bring Batman back, I guess, or have a new one. But I don't know. That was a big deal, I think. Yeah, it showed, Batman could die.
Yep.
And it was worth it because he took down Darkseid.
I just remember in the Justice League cartoon, in the last one, Destroyer, where he outran the Omega Beam.
Yeah, that's preposterous.
Yeah, it's still pretty cool. I still like it. I'm a big fan of the Justice League Unlimited series. I won't say anything bad about it. I will defend it because I love that series.
It's a good series.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Batman. What was I saying? Yeah, no, Joker dies. He gets thrown off the roof. In the comic book, it's a bit different. He comments on why it's called a Batarang. He says all the media would call it a Batarang.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, true.
Yeah. And there's a lot, and Joker has a lot more lines in the comic too. But Joker's like, that's the bet. I don't know. Some people say Heath Ledger. I love Heath Ledger, but I don't know. Jack Nicholson, I thought he was a better Joker. I mean, I know that's controversial,
I just like Jack Nicholson. Just
Yeah,
he didn't want to do it though. Did you know that?
I didn't, but that really is something I would believe 100% because it just sounds like Jack Nicholson. Like, no, I don't want to be the Joker. But
Yeah,
especially at the time too, because there'd only been the Caesar Romero one, the Adam West Joker.
yeah.
Before that,
He's pretty cool too, actually. Caesar Ramirez.
he's cool, but I don't think Jack Nicholson wanted to do that same kind of role. Like he changed it a little, made it more of a gangster.
Yeah, he was very much a gangster, which is something they did in The Mask of Phantasma. They made him more of a gangster. Or he had gangster connections in that.
Wasn't that a great movie too? With Mark Hamill as the Joker.
Oh yeah, Mark Hamill is the Joker.
He really is.
The voice. He's the voice of the Joker. Don DiMaggio's was okay in The Red Mask. The more I watch that, the more I like his version of the Joker. But yeah, Jack Nicholson. I like Jack Nicholson's Joker because I don't know. I guess he has purpose. Like Heath Ledger's Joker was just chaos, and he was also a liar. Somebody made a point of this. He's a liar. The Joker in Dark Knight Returns. Is it what this was called, right? Oh, The Dark Knight. Sorry. He's a liar. He says that I'm like a dog. I just chase a car. But he had specific plans on what he was going to do. He knew what he was going to do. And even though he said to the Two-Face or whatever, he said, I'm just like a dog. I just chase after a car. And if I ever got that car, I wouldn't know what to do with it. But he's lying to him because he knew exactly what he was doing. He planned everything out from the freaking get-go. Although everybody has a, how did he get all those gasoline bombs on the boat? Ooh, it's like, I don't know. Shut up. Just enjoy the film.
Yeah, for real. It's a comic book movie. Like, just it's fine, right?
How does a man fly?
Right.
Yeah.
They focus on weird stuff.
Yeah. But Joker. I really liked Joker, Jack Nicholson Joker, and the way he's really pretty much the same. He always wants to get back at the city. He always wants to kill the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
pretty much.
Yeah. He doesn't want to kill Batman. Well, he does want to kill Batman, but he's always trying to like kill the city. And in the end, when all those people were dying of smile gas and had money in their hands, I wonder what you're trying to say there. What are you trying to say?
Right. Yeah, it's not too subtle.
No, not at all. I do like those balloons. I like how Batman has the gadget for the moment. It's always something I always found hilarious.
Yeah, that's definitely a Batman trope.
Like he's fighting that guy on the bell tower, and he's got a thing in his thing that's like a spatula, and he flicks it out and pushes the guy, and the guy falls.
Yeah, and he falls, freaking kills the guy. I'm sure that was a long fall.
It's not the first time he kills people in that movie. Like, remember he's remote controlling the Batmobile, and the Batmobile drops a bunch of bombs and it blows up Acme Chemical.
That factory?
Yeah, Acme Chemical.
Yeah.
Is it Acme?
People always point that out too, especially with the criticisms of Batman killing in BVS. It's like, well, no one said anything in the first Batman movie, or Batman 89. It wasn't the first one, but
I guess it wasn't so prevalent. I don't know.
Yeah, it was less apparent.
Well, in the Batman 1989, I think was the fact that this was the first Batman film, and normies or normal people who went and saw it just saw Batman. They probably hadn't read the comics, or they didn't. I guess
there was a Batman 66 movie, but that was the only one.
Yeah,
before that.
I know. I like how people do the comparisons to that in the last Batman film. He's like carrying around the bomb.
And
Love that. And in the end of the movie, it's like he's just dragging the bomb out of Gotham City. There's actually a really cool comedy sketch of Batman Dark Knight, but done in the 66 kind of way. And they got like the Joker. They want to see a magic trick, and he produces flowers, and all the gangsters go, "Oh, that's really good!" And give him a hand. You should watch it. It's hilarious.
That
and
does sound hilarious.
Yeah, well, they got the guy doing what's his name, Adam West's voice and stuff as Batman. So it's I'll see if I can find the link and I'll throw it up on Twitter, so the other person that listened to us can check it out too.
Nice.
We've got like 3 people. Well, us, maybe me, you, and one other guy. Oh,
that's cool.
Yeah,
I did post the link in a few places.
3 people. That's more than last time.
Yeah, that's cool. And it'll get uploaded, because I know a lot of people. It's just late here, so a lot of people aren't going to be able to listen now. We'll probably listen again later.
Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate you being on, even though only 2.
Oh, for sure. But I had a few people say that they'd listen to it, tomorrow. So
okay, well, hopefully they will. Thank you, other people who listen. Don't forget to comment. Smash that like button. No,
right.
That's what me and my mate always say. Smash that like button.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. It does make a difference just having interaction on your channel.
Yeah, I've got a couple of comments on my Sega Saturn channel. Anyway, slightly off topic. Let's get back to it. Let's go to a more obscure one. I don't know if it's obscure, but The Running Man. Have you ever seen The Running Man? Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, not in a while, but yeah, definitely. I actually read the book too, the Stephen King one.
I haven't read the book. I just remember
it's fairly different. Yeah, that's a good one. That was an earlier one too, 82 or something, if I remember.
I think the only 80s action film that can probably compete with Terminator is probably Die Hard.
Okay. Because, we haven't been given these scores. I was probably going to give Terminator like a 10. I mean, it's going to be hard for anything to top that.
Die Hard. Welcome to the party.
Yeah, right. Die Hard is a really good movie. That's like 100% action movie too.
Yeah, it's a good Christmas film.
Yep, it's the best Christmas movie.
Well, it's interesting because Bruce Willis hadn't done that. Was his first action film, and he I think he did War of the Roses for that, and a couple of other films which were pretty much romantic or drama based, and this was like his first one. And really, I think somebody said it's the first time that you've got a character that really is the underdog. He really is, as the thing, wrong place, wrong time. And he really is the underdog. He's completely outgunned. He's completely out of his depth. He steps on glass in the start of the film. He's got glass hanging out of his head. And which is just watching that scene makes my feet curl up. And he's way different from Arnold Schwarzenegger, who could probably break your neck with just his biceps. And Stallone, who was like freaking machine gun toting Rambo. But no, Bruce Willis was pretty much just a cop, an LA cop.
Mm-hmm.
Not LA, New York cop. And then all of a sudden he's in LA seeing his wife, and next minute some British guy takes over the building that him and his wife are in, and he has to fight to the death with all these guys.
I don't know if I don't think he's named like Hans Gruber or something. I don't think he's British.
Oh, well, the actor who played him is British.
Oh, right. True. Yeah. Okay. That was back when terrorists were like vaguely European of some kind instead of.
He was the first one, actually, wasn't he? Hans Gruber, and then everybody went,
probably.
"Ooh, European people are scary." And
yeah, right.
They just got European guys to play, or British actors and all that to play scary European bad guys. Even Cliffhanger, no, Cliffhanger, not Cliffhanger. Last Action Hero made that a joke because the guy he fought was British.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love Last Action Hero. I know it's a bit off topic, but everybody gives that movie crap. I do not understand why. It's a fun film. It makes fun of the whole action genre, and some of the lines are hilarious. Like it tells the kid, "Bring the car around," and the kid brings the car around. I love that. It's
I like that one too.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Die Hard. Like everything about it is freaking brilliant, and especially, I don't know. It's like I can say, especially the whole damn film.
Yeah, it's really good. It's very entertaining. I've seen it a number of times for sure.
I try to watch it at Christmas. It is the ultimate Christmas film. Me, the granny, the kids.
Yep, it's the way to do it.
Welcome to the party. And what's his name? Winslow's in it from Family Matters.
Yeah. What he always plays cops in Family Matters. He was a cop too.
Yeah, but I always thought that they shared the same universe. That Die Hard was in the Family Matters universe.
It might be.
Well, I don't even think they're in the same town. Are they in the same? They're not even in the same
town.
Maybe he moved town after that happened because he was getting a bit of, like, oh man, this was pretty terrible. I better move to a quieter town. And then he meets Urkel and everything goes to freaking shit. He goes, oh yeah, terrorists were back.
Yeah, right. Terrorists are better than Urkel.
Yeah. But no, it's a brilliant film. I always thought that Family Matters and Die Hard were connected somehow.
I think you're right.
Yeah, screw it. That's what it is now, people.
It's got to be.
Family Matters and Die Hard are in the same universe. From this point on.
I believe it.
I'll give Die Hard a 10. Screw it. I'm giving Die Hard a 10.
Oh, a contender arises.
Yeah.
It's a good one. I'll give it an 8, I think.
Okay. Now I have a gun. Ho, ho, ho.
Right? Oh, yeah, right. That's when he sends the guy down with the note around his neck.
Yeah, and
the dead guy.
He's a Robot Chicken sketch. He goes, oh, he got a gun. It's your brother. He's dead. But he got a gun.
That's the other thing. These movies get parodied so much. You almost have to watch them just to get all the references.
I used to read a lot of Mad magazine, and they always did satire on these movies. And it was funny to watch the movie after you've read the Mad magazine. It's like, wait, that's not how it goes. Wait.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
So, when's the last time you watched the best Indiana Jones, Last Crusade?
It's been a little while, but I remember it pretty good.
Yeah, I love that film. Let the world around you be your army, the rocks and the trees and the birds and I can't remember that line that well. And yeah, Sean Connery pretty much made that film. I mean, I think it would have been a great film without him, but he just everything about that film. Sean Connery, he's a bloody brilliant actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't get some of the Lego. Slightly off topic. There's a really, really nice Lego of the very first Indiana Jones movie with that plane. Remember the big guy in India fighting on that plane?
Oh, and he gets cut up by the propellers?
Yeah. Get this. Here's a bit of information. That guy is in every single Indiana Jones film except probably the Crystal Skull, and he dies like that kind of horrible in every one of the in the third one.
Temple of Doom.
Yeah, he gets pulled under the tank by the tank treads when they're fighting on that big.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
In Last Crusade, he's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Man, a bunch of those Nazis died.
Yeah. I love that film. I love that tank.
Yeah, me too.
It's probably the best part is that tank bit when they're fighting on the tank, and at the end when the guy's falling off and he's like holding onto it as it's falling off the cliff, and he's like, oh.
Yeah.
And he's always trying to get his Sorry, keep going.
I like the tank part, and when Indiana Jones is actually going through the different traps and stuff to try to get to the um, you know, magic chalice or whatever.
Yeah, the cup of Christ, something like that.
Yeah,
You,
he has like there's the way to get across that's hard to see, and he has to step on all the different things and not get hit with the blades and stuff.
yeah, the penitent man. You have to spell Jehovah's name correctly, and then the leap of faith, which is a very well hidden, what do you call it?
Yeah,
Bridge. That was pretty
bridge, I
crazy.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good illusion.
Yeah, I saw Goonies after that, and I was like, wow, that's kind of similar.
Huh.
Well, they have to go through all the different traps.
That's true.
Yeah.
And they're after a treasure too, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. You notice something? Actually, somebody pointed this out for those films, that when they start going after whatever they're going after, like the Cup of Christ or the what do you call it? The Covenant, where the ghosts.
Oh, the Ark.
Yeah, the Ark. The idea that they're not real, they're just some kind of relic. They're not magical. They're not mystical. They're just a relic, and they want to get a hold of it because it's something that should be put in a museum. It belongs in a museum, as Indiana Jones always said. But then later, as you get to the end, it actually is the covenant, or the cup actually gives immortality, and the box of death is a box of death. Now, what would have been interesting if Indiana, in the first film, somebody already did a thing on this, that Indiana Jones doesn't really affect the outcome of the first film. Like, his reason to be there, he doesn't really need to be there, other than no, he doesn't really need to be there if you think about it. I think somebody covered it. I think the Big Bang did a thing on this. But what would have been better if they just let them open the box in Germany in front of Hitler. Imagine what would have happened.
Oh,
somebody pointed out.
Yeah, that would have been.
Indiana Jones should have helped the Nazis get hold of it, helped them get it to Germany, and then later, well, why did you help them? And then the box opens and kills all the Nazis and kills Hitler. He goes, oh, good work, Dr. Jones.
I guess he didn't know that it would do that, but then he kind of did too, right? At the end, because he says, look away.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Then again, wasn't that bit of information in... oh, no, that was the last one.
He must have figured it out somehow.
Maybe it was...
I don't know. I think I like the third one the best too.
Yeah. It's more... It's a stronger... It's a little funnier film, especially with Sean Connery and Harrison Ford. I actually thought they were related in real life.
Yeah, it's really his dad.
Yeah, I honestly think I should stop watching films because I think they probably paint my worldview a bit weirdly.
Yeah, that's how you imagine World War II. Like,
yep, exactly.
That was part of it. That actually happened.
Mad Max? That's a documentary.
Yeah, that's Australia.
Yeah, it's a documentary. Is that, and instead of like bad guys, it's actually kangaroos and emus. That's who are running away from Kalgoorlie. And the koalas, don't get on the wrong side of koalas.
They're pretty hardcore, I've heard.
Drop bears. They'll drop on you and pee on you. And yeah.
I've heard they are called drop bears because when they die, they just drop out of the tree.
Okay. Well,
and land on people.
That's where I guess that's where they came from. Imagine that. I don't know. I just imagine walking through the freaking through the bush. And you're going, oh, isn't this lovely? The Australian bush. Oh, isn't this? And then the freaking dead koala hits you on the head.
Yeah. Because when they die, their grip, on the tree lets go and they fall. That's what I've heard. I don't know. I thought you could verify that.
I don't know. To tell the truth, I've only seen a koala and a kangaroo in a zoo. I've seen a koala in real life, like bouncing across this. But I've lived most of my life in the cities, and
okay,
you really have to live in the bush to see all that stuff. I mean, I saw a koala once, and I've eaten koala meat. I mean, not koala meat, kangaroo.
Really?
Meat.
Oh,
Kangaroo.
okay. I didn't
Yeah.
think you could eat koalas.
No, koala meat, kangaroo meat. It's gamey, and I didn't really like it.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, generally you don't see kangaroos bouncing down the road or whatever thing like that. The Simpsons lied to you. I'm just saying.
They tend to do that.
Yeah, I don't know how they could do that. That's so wrong. But yeah, we're a little off topic there. We've got
That
like
tends to happen with live streams.
we've got about 15 or 10 minutes. You want to wrap it up at 4?
Yeah, that'd be cool because that's 2 a.m. here.
Yeah, that's fine. One more. Ghostbusters. Would you call it an
Oh,
action
yeah.
film?
You know, I would probably call it a comedy, but it definitely has a lot of action in it.
Hmm.
I don't know. What do you think?
It's kind of a horror comedy in a way. Supernatural comedy? I wouldn't say horror because it's not really that scary.
Oh, weird. Google says it's a fantasy movie. Well, I don't
Hmm.
think I agree with that.
Okay. Well, how about we do this? I'll go through a couple of films that we didn't talk about, and you can just if you liked it or if you've seen it, and if it's an action film. Blues Brothers, released in 1980.
Again, that one's kind of a comedy too, don't you think?
Yeah, it only has really action at the end with the big car chase.
Yeah. It's a good one, but yeah, I thought of it more as a comedy with Dan Aykroyd and everybody. And yeah, it's like comedic actors.
Okay.
Yeah, musical comedy. Oh, musical comedy / action.
That's just the action at the end when they're getting chased through the what do you call it? The shopping center, which is a really good scene.
Oh yeah.
Tron, 1982.
Oh, I love Tron.
Sci-fi. I really call it a sci-fi film. I don't know why
Yeah.
it's on this list.
Well, it's like, well, Predator is a sci-fi action, but yeah, this one would definitely be sci-fi. I love Tron though. That was one of my favorites when I was a kid.
Pretty simple story. You watch it again, and it's pretty simple. Nothing really huge happens in it, really.
It's a mellow movie.
Yeah.
The effects were so good for the time, though.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. No.
Yeah, that was funny too. The pixel.
Yeah.
I think, or the bit, or whatever.
I think it was a bit.
Yeah, a bit and a bite.
Yeah. Aliens. I'd really call that a horror film. I mean, the second one's more of an action horror.
Yeah. It's too bad the first one's like 79, I think, so it didn't quite make the list.
Yeah. Oh well. Last Crusade. The Punisher. Have you ever seen the original Punisher? That's definitely an action film.
Yeah.
It's pretty. What do you think? Do you think it's better than the last one? I mean, the one that came after that, which was Thomas Jane. I actually haven't seen it. I just thought, is it worth watching? Should I watch it?
I don't know. I think if you like the first one, it wouldn't, be worth watching to compare it.
Do you like the Thomas Jane one? I heard a lot of people don't like it now, which is strange because they still like that film.
The newer one, I haven't seen that.
Okay. And Superman 2. I guess it's just a superhero film, really.
Yeah, it's a great movie, though.
I went and watched Superman 1 again recently, and I'll tell you, man, Christopher Reeve as Superman is just, I'm sorry, nobody else can do it. Unless it doesn't have this, like the new Superman movies and all that, don't have the same kind of feeling as in like hope and fun and Superman, I guess is the word for it. It feels like Superman film. It feels like this is a Superman film. This is Superman doing Superman stuff. While Man of Steel is just like, I guess the only thing we'll remember Man of Steel for is the neck break.
It's the main thing about it. Yeah, I think for me too. Yeah, Christopher Reeve was definitely the Superman.
I know you're a huge fan of the Superman. Superman. Have you seen the old Fleister cartoons?
The Fleischer ones, yeah. The cool thing with those too is they're public domain, so we could even like, you can review them or whatever, show them on your channel and stuff. It's pretty neat.
Maybe we'll talk about them in the future. Maybe
Yeah, I
streaming
was thinking, yeah, exactly. I was thinking of that sometime, do a live stream and just, talk while we watch it.
Yeah, there's some really good ideas in those cartoons, and the animation, even compared today, if not better than some of the crap that comes out today. And what do you expect for how much they paid to get those done? They paid a lot of money. The only problem I have with them is the war propaganda ones. I'm not a very big fan of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know. It's just because I'm not of that time, I guess. But the ones that are all sci-fi, like when he fights the robots, or he stops a train, or when he stops a volcano, and he's so smug about it. I think I've talked about how smug Superman is in those series. But we can leave that for the live when we do our Superman live stream if you want to do that.
Yeah, we definitely got to do that sometime. I saw those went into the public domain recently, so shouldn't have any problems with YouTube copyright striking or anything.
Well, that's about it. We're going in a couple of minutes, so I guess we'll just say Terminator is the winner. Followed by Die Hard.
Okay.
Yeah. Although
that sounds fair.
Yeah, Commando kind of won as in discussion points because it got talked about more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot you can say about Commando. It's such a quintessential action movie, 1980s action movie, and it is aware of it, which I think is the best part about it.
Yeah, it definitely, yeah. Just like everything, was it? It wasn't his first action film, of course not. But I think it was.
No.
I don't know. I have to look it up.
No, because he did Terminator before that.
Did he? Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, Terminator's from 84, right?
Yeah, 84.
He even says he even says in Commando at one point, "I'll be back."
Yeah, that's interesting about Tango and Cash. There's a lot of references to Rambo and Rocky. Kurt Russell even makes fun of Stallone's drawl. Yeah, you're not Rambo. Yeah, Rambo was a pussy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I highly recommend watching that. Just, I don't know, maybe you won't like it, maybe you will, but it's a very.
I probably will.
Yeah, and I love.
Sounds like one I'd like.
Yeah, I love Kurt Russell and stuff. Just even in like the movies that aren't that good, like Escape from New York and Escape from LA, he's just got this like kind of, I don't know, rough charm, like kind of. I don't know how to explain it exactly. Like you want to hang out with him, but for not too long. You don't want to hang out with him too long. Mm-hmm. He'd probably be the guy you get drunk with, and then you'd end up with your sister or something, as he did in Tango and Cash or something. Okay, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you for joining me, DC United.
Oh, for sure. It was fun.
Yeah. Well, next live stream will be in a couple of weeks because that's how these things work. We'll do the Superman thing if you want.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Or talk about other movies or something. We'll definitely figure it out.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Thanks for everyone for checking it out. If you want to leave a comment about the Drop Bears and Mad Max the documentary, and smash that like button if you want. It's up to you. Thanks, DC. I'll talk to you guys later. How do I stop this? I just wrecked that completely. There we go.